If I had to pick a topic that I feel like is more important than I realized when I was writing the book, I would probably say this, and that's the power of the social environment. We are all part of multiple tribes. Sometimes those tribes are like large, like what it means to be American, and sometimes they're small, like what it means to be a neighbor on your street or a member of the local gym. But all of those tribes that you belong to, the large groups and the small groups, they all have this set of expectations. They've got a set of social norms for what you do when you're in that group and what the typical way is to act and behave and what kind of habits they follow. And the more that your habits go with the grain of the expectations of the group, the more attractive they feel like to you because it's like, hey, I fit in, I belong, I'm part of something. And the more that they go against the grain of the expectations of the group, the harder they are to stick to, especially in the long run. Maybe you can do it for a day or a week or I don't know, a month or two, but like at some point you kind of keep rubbing you have this like friction where you're conflicting with the group and it becomes hard to stick to that for the long run. And so the little takeaway that I kind of think of now is you want to join groups, to join tribes where your desired behavior is the normal behavior. Because if it's normal in that group, then it becomes really motivating to stick to it. And furthermore, the kind of like ancillary habits that are part of that group, the other expectations are things that you're probably going to soak up. Like people will join a CrossFit gym because they think they want to get in shape, but then you turn around 6 months later and they're all eating paleo and wearing the same brand of knee sleeves and they buy the same workout gear. And like, it's all these other habits that they never intended to build, but they just kind of soaked them up because that's what the group was doing. And ultimately, I think this comes back to this kind of deep need that we all have, which is this need to bond and connect. We all want to be a part of something. We want to belong. We want to fit in. And if people have to choose between, I have habits that I don't really love, but I fit in, I belong, I'm part of something. Or I have the habits that I want to have, but I'm cast out, I'm ostracized, I'm criticized. I mean, most of the time, the desire to belong will overpower the desire to improve. So as best as possible, you got to get those two things aligned and surround yourself with people where your desired behavior is the normal behavior.
Yeah, absolutely. The whole you're the average of the five people you associate with most type of thinking. And also for people who are starting off the new year or about to and thinking about how to best ensure that you cohere with a group that leads to these new behaviors. Front load it. Make it painful not to do it. Pay in advance. Right? Make some type of bet with one of your friends and you owe each other money if you miss workouts. Like set it up so it is painful not to do it. I know that might sound like I'm favoring the stick over the carrot. You're also going to use the carrots, right?
Sure.
Like you can use the carrots, but make it compelling from an incentives perspective to do it.
As you said, you can also use the carrots. Like the flip side of that is, so yes, like make it painful not to do it and make it easy and frictionless and obvious to do it. Like try to design your environment so the things that you say are important to you are the obvious and available things. I think one interesting thing you can do is just think about one habit you're trying to build and then walk into the rooms where you spend most of your time each day, kitchen, office, bedroom, whatever, and just look around and ask yourself, what behaviors are obvious here? What is this space designed to encourage?
Yeah, it's really good.
And you'll start to notice different things that you can tweak to make it the good habit more obvious and easier, and the bad habits or the things you want to avoid less obvious and maybe a little higher friction. And making one or two little adjustments like that is not going to radically transform your life. But if you make a dozen or 2 dozen or 50, and you're kind of all of these environments, all these rooms where you're spending space each day are primed to support the habits you want to build. I mean, now you've got a tailwind rather than a headwind. And so it's become so much easier to appear as if you have great willpower or that you're really consistent when really you're benefiting from the environment that you already set up.